Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Ralph Sexton, and I invite you to stay tuned for the next few moments as together we study about the Word of God, the nation of Israel, and the soon return of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Today, I have a special guest from Israel, and I want you to hear his powerful testimony. His family was in one of the kibbutz that was overtaken by Hamas. Friends on his street, relatives in his neighborhood, all lost their life that day. Powerful testimonies. He traveled to Asheville, North Carolina to share with us a first-hand report. Maybe you could call a friend, a neighbor, invite them to listen in as we hear from a first-hand eyewitness report. The media is not telling the whole story. We're not getting a balanced picture of what happened on the worst day since the Holocaust of World War II that they suffered on October 7th. I hope that you'll continue to stand with me and the nation of Israel as we continue our aid and our help, not only helping in Israel, but helping with the Christian Palestinians as well. So I want you to get right with me into this discussion, testimony, and then I'll come back to you in just a moment.
In Saturday morning, more than 3,000 terrorists entered Israel. They broke the border between Israel and Gaza. And they start to entered all the army bases around Gaza. And they entered all the kibbutzes around Gaza as well. Now, I don't know if you know what kibbutz is. Kibbutz is like a small socialist community village.
Yeah.
It really depends, but the sizes normally goes between 500 to 1,000 people in each kibbutz. On this map, what you will see that kibbutz Reim, it's exactly in the middle of Gaza envelope.
That's your home, right?
Yeah, this is where I come from.
Yeah.
So kibbutz Reim, it's exactly in the middle, and after they captured some of the terrorists inside the kibbutz, and the IDF captured them at the end of the war and investigated them, why they bring so many people, so many terrorists to the kibbutz. So the terrorists told them that Reim is exactly in the middle of the envelope, and they plan to take over all over the envelope and make Reim as their headquarters because it's exactly in the middle of the envelope. Also in kibbutz Reim, there was a very important junction next to the kibbutz, which the IDF and the police tried to bring lots of reinforcement to fight against the terrorists. This is why we had such a big war in and out of the kibbutz.
So that was right next to your village, to your kibbutz, and you thought the reinforcements might come from there.
Yeah, we start to hear lots of sirens, and we knew we started to know what's going on. But everyone knew that if the main road that goes next to Gaza will be captured, this next to Reim will be the road that the army will try to bring reinforcement.
So your kibbutz is sort of in the middle, and so a lot of the army and the police sort of focus on your area.
Yeah. And both Hamas terrorists and the army and the IDF focused on this area. This is why there were a very big clash.
Big war there.
Yeah. At 6:30 a.m. we started to hear lots of sirens going on and lots of rockets. So I entered the safe room with my 3 kids, and I told my wife, try to pack a suitcase so we will be able to leave the kibbutz.
Right.
And we will get out of the kibbutz as soon as possible, if it will be possible. And we heard lots of shooting. All right, at the beginning I thought maybe it's the IDF trying to hit the Hamas terrorists. We didn't know at all what's going on.
Right.
It was like a very big mess. And we start to get messages that the Hamas entered Israel, we thought, all right, they will go to the army bases. They will go and fight the soldiers. And this is what they plan to do, and this is what they're going to do. Around 7:30 a.m., the guy that is in charge of my neighborhood, exactly for things like that, like emergency things, gave me a call, and he told me, and he asked me how is everything going. So I told him two things. The first one, there is a hole where there was supposed to be a vent. There was a hole, and there is no lid to cover it up. So it was like pretty much an empty hole. And
so that made you nervous for the safe room to have a big hole in the wall.
Yeah, because I thought that if rockets will fall, all the dust and everything can come inside through that hole. The second thing is that I asked Nadav, his name was Nadav, I asked him if it's possible that we will live. We want to live. We want to get out of our house and live. And Nadav told me that it's not possible. There is a big war out of the kibbutz between the IDF and the terrorists. And we have to stay inside our safe room. And there's a fear that the terrorists already entered our kibbutz.
Wow.
Actually, that was the first time that me and my family life was saved. If this guy would have told us, all right, you can go, we would have gone, and they would have killed us. The terrorists would have killed us out of the kibbutz because they were already there. We didn't knew that, but they were already
in the kibbutz.
They were on our and they were out of our kibbutz. They were about to enter the kibbutz, but at 7:30 a.m. they've been out of our kibbutz.
So if
fighting
you had
the
gone
soldiers.
Out, you would have met them.
Yeah, because after we left the kibbutz, we saw so many burnt cars and unfortunately bodies on the roads. And it was supposed to be our destiny as well. It was supposed to be the same for us.
Yeah. And one of the things that's powerful is that one act of that phone call saved your life, saved the life of your wife and your 3 children.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, we went to the music festival property when Andrew and Pastor Winston and I were just there. And we saw stacks and stacks and stacks of burned cars. And it looked like that they had killed a lot of the young people. And are you close to that site?
So the Nova Festival, the music festival that took place, it was about 2,000 feet from where I live. It's in Re'im Forest. It's in Kibbutz. The name of the forest that the music festival being held is Re'im Forest.
Re'im Forest?
Yeah, we heard the music, and it was like very. We thought that there is so much noise. My kids couldn't sleep because of that festival. So it was
played the music into the night.
Yeah. So many of the people from the festival tried to escape, and they faced the terrorists. There was no military, there was no policemen. They only looked for civilians to kidnap or to kill. That's it, simple as that. And they knew that there is no soldiers. They knew exactly where our army bases were. You can know that as well. Just go to Google Maps and you will see it. Yeah. Unfortunately, in our kibbutz, we used to hire many Palestinians. Okay. They worked in our cow house and chicken house.
Right.
And we helped them. We gave them jobs to go back to Gaza. Unfortunately, they knew exactly where to go in Kibbutz Reim. The terrorists
They knew exactly where to go.
inside the kibbutz, they knew exactly where is the commander of our security team lives. It wasn't like that just in Kibbutz Reim. It was all over the other kibbutzes as well.
So every kibbutz, they had a plan of where the power, the generators were located, the alarm systems, and then they knew
Everything.
where the security people lived.
Exactly, and they even had pictures. So
Had pictures.
Yeah, we're thinking that maybe the people that work in the kibbutz.
So this was
Did it.
years in the planning.
It was years. I don't know if you said before that Israel left Gaza Strip at 2005.
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe it was since that moment that they planned it. They planned it for a long time.
A long time.
It wasn't something that they just woke up in the morning and they said, all right, let's go try to break the border and go into Israel. They planned it.
And it was brutal and
they-
bloody.
And it was very brutal, very bloody.
It's so unbelievable that I told someone a few days ago in a meeting, there's no words. It's past human. Human beings don't do that. I said the only word I can think of is demonic. It's like something took over a human for them to be that cruel and vicious. And how do you tie up a mama and a daddy and set their children on fire and make the mom and daddy watch? How do you rape a woman to death that's crying? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I do have many stories, very hard, very difficult, very like in your worst nightmares, you will never imagine that things like this will happen, that a human can do something like that. It was terrible. I have so many evidence, even in the kibbutz, which I will talk about it later.
Yeah, go ahead.
What we've been faced through in the kibbutz. We still cannot believe that those things on October 7th happened in the kibbutzes. And again, I will say it and I will repeat it. There was no soldiers or policemen in the kibbutz. We were just civilians like you guys, but we are living in Israel and in the Gaza envelope.
Thank you for being with us today. This is a very moving and emotional program to hear the testimonies from Israel, what these families went through as they were hiding in their safe rooms, hiding outside in the woods, trying to get away from the Hamas terrorists. God said in His Word He'd bless us that bless them. So we're taking the special time today to follow that and to share with you this important information. I want to interrupt the programming to talk about my good friend, Pastor Greg Mathis. And Brother Greg's going to be having a special service today at his church. He's making the decision to retire early, and I want you to know that we love Brother Greg, we love his family. Thank God for Mud Creek Baptist Church. They are a shining bright light, and we're grateful for them and their faithfulness. If you get a chance, go by Mud Creek this morning. Honor Brother Mathis. Let him know we love him and appreciate him. And God has blessed us with wonderful friends like Dr. Greg Mathis. Brother Greg, we love you, pal, and I hope to see you very soon. Let's get back now into the interview from Israel, these survivors. I want you to keep praying for the nation of Israel as we continue to listen to the testimony.
So around 8:15, I had this message on our WhatsApp group of the kibbutz, said that Dvir was murdered. Dvir was a friend of mine. His house is about 250 feet from where I live. And I knew exactly what's going on. They entered the kibbutz and pretty much they start to purifying all the houses from the people that inside. So I pretty much I just waited counted the minutes until they will enter my house.
Wow.
You're just waiting for your own death. You know that eventually it will come, and you're waiting, and you keep hearing the shooting coming towards you, coming to your way, and you're just waiting that the angel of death will show up. It was pretty terrifying moments. Eventually, they arrived. They've been on our house. We heard them on our balcony. We heard the shooting hitting our walls. We heard the shouting and the screaming in Arabic.
Right.
And we knew it's the time. And I told myself that if they will show up, first of all, I explained before that we had a hole in our wall, and we had no lid. So pretty much if they would have known that, they could have come and just throw a hand grenade inside just like that and kill us all. Simple as that. They didn't even have to go into our house.
No.
And I thought that if it will happen,
You could hear them, right?
We heard them. They were just next to our window.
Oh.
So I thought I will jump on the grenade and I will die, but maybe I will save my kid's life.
Sure.
That was the idea. Or if they will enter our house, I will get out of the safe room and they will kill me or they will kidnap me, but maybe they will not enter the safe room. In that point, I was 100% sure that my life is gone. Mm-hmm. It was only about the kids. I served in the IDF. I served in the army in Sayeret Golani. Sayeret Golani is one of the top units.
Top units.
Combat units that we have in the army.
You have the beret.
The brown, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been under fire. I was afraid for my life. But to be afraid for your kid's life, it's something else. It's a whole new level that I haven't felt before and I cannot even express. It's something else to be afraid of their life. So the terrorists, they arrived on our front door. They tried to open it. It was locked. It's just a wooden door, pretty much, Ralph. You can kick it and break this door pretty easy. But they didn't. So they start to shoot on our front door and the window next to it. They thought that maybe we will be afraid and we will surrender and get out of the safe room.
Yeah.
It was pretty terrifying moment.
I'm sure.
Pretty much what between us and the death was just a simple wooden door. That's it. So they didn't enter our house.
What do you think stopped them from coming in, Gal?
They had so much time, they just moved to the next house.
Gotcha.
They thought, all right, let's move forward. They moved to my neighbor house. They opened it. He forgot to lock the door.
Yeah.
So they threw a hand grenade to his living room just like that. Yeah. The hand grenade didn't explode, and they were afraid from their own grenade.
Yeah, they're afraid
suddenly it will explode. So this is what saved my neighbor's life and his family's life. This grenade didn't explode. Otherwise, they would have entered after the grenade and killed the whole family. And this is why they moved from this house to the next house as well. It's a sin that you cannot even imagine, and I don't want to.
Think about what you just said. It's a sin that you cannot even imagine. So how does a college student at Columbia or at George Washington University, a young lady, say, I'm Hamas, and condone other girls being treated that way?
I think that there is lots of ignorance these days.
Yeah.
I think that people don't really know the truth or don't really want to know the truth, the real truth. In the world in 2024, I feel that there is no more space for true facts. It doesn't really matter. No one's paying attention for that.
That's a thought, that there's no room for truth.
Yeah, yeah. It's only about.
You know, the scriptures. I have the Hebrew Bible here, and I have my Bible here, and there's a verse that says in the Old Testament that the truth has fallen in the streets, and that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
There's no room for truth.
There's no room for truth. But so what I'm trying to do, it's to come to United States and trying to fight ignorance and darkness with more truth and more light.
Truth and light.
Yeah, this is what's important.
And that's a biblical principle. Our Messiah, Yeshua, he said that you, the believer, we're the light of the world, and that we are to be the salt, the preservatives, that we would fight against the lies, that truth that has to come, and that we would be a light in the darkness. We can't be afraid right now.
No.
You've already faced death multiple times, and so here you are, even with threats. I know that just recently on a college campus, they had to put protection around you just to speak and tell your story, even in America. It's hard to believe. But one of the things I think that we can sort of put a bow on this is the fact that there's being taught for our high schools. We had a high school student just deface the World War I memorial. Well, that was when the Ottoman Turks were defeated in Israel. And that's when the British came in and we had the Balfour Treaty.
Yeah.
That there's going to be a free area for the Palestinians and for the Israelis. And they destroyed it last night, painted paint on it. And you know what? His own dad turned him into the police, his own father. And it's this DEI teaching in the school and the college, diversity education and inclusion, you know, and that resistance is with this violence, and it's justified. But there's no way. They're saying there's an oppressor and there's the oppressed. And so everything's oversimplified. I went to one hearing up in Loudoun County, Virginia, and they said the oppressed were children and the oppressor was parents, because they make you brush your teeth and comb your hair. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so what they're saying is that Israel's the oppressor and Gaza is the oppressed. So it doesn't matter all the bad things they did, that the violence is okay because they're oppressed. And that's not so. We have the statement quoted 1 week after October 7th that the leader of the Iranian group that was in Lebanon, he was making a speech. And what did he say? He said that this is just the beginning and there will not be any peace until the cancerous tumor of Israel is cut off the world map. So all the Jews die. And then we will have an Islamic caliphate to rule the world. And so it's not just Israel's problem anymore. And they're showing what they believe and what they think.
Exactly.
Because they're already saying, let's take the flag of America, let's take it down, let's destroy it, and death to Israel, death to America, and we're there.
I saw, I'm sorry, I don't remember which university it was, but I saw many policemen protecting the American flag.
Yes.
And where is our rights?
That was the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
North Carolina?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And some of the students went over and tore the Palestinian. And remember, Palestine's not a country. They have a flag, but that's not a country. It's a territory.
You said before, you said before that we left, in 2005, we left Gaza to the Arabs, and people saying that there is apartheid in Israel. There is more than 2 million Arab Israelis inside Israel that lives.
More than 2 million.
Now it's more than 2 million, and they have the same rights as I have. How come people are saying there is apartheid? It's so weird for me.
There's no room for truth.
Exactly.
Thank you again for being with us today. I'm sure your heart was moved, as my heart was moved, to hear the powerful testimony of what this man, his wife, and 3 children went through as they were pinned down 32 hours in that shelter. And then to think about the awful, awful decision they were moments from making, holding their hands over their baby's mouth so it wouldn't cry, that the terrorists would not locate them and kill the entire family. We have no idea of what all happened on October the 7th. We're just now beginning to understand. But I want to thank you for standing with the nation of Israel. God said in His Word in Genesis chapter 12 and verse number 3, I will bless them that bless thee. And we're helping not only with medical supplies, but we're also helping in the battle of taking the word of truth. And if you've not been to RalphSexton.com or to our YouTube channel, Ralph Sexton Ministries, make sure you go see The Massacre of My People, a 2-hour documentary that you can show in Sunday school, can show in church, to document what went through these families' lives as they were invaded by Hamas terrorists. So take advantage of that resource, would you? If you want to still help us, stand with us, please, we'll mail you this information. You can call the numbers on your screen. To everybody that sends any kind of gift today, we want to send you a thank you with some bumper stickers from our ministry showing our support for the nation of Israel. And then we're going to send you one of our DVDs. We just finished a study about Noah's Ark, and I want to send you a free copy. No matter what size gift, I want you to have this working on the ark, but not yet on board. And you help me stand with the nation of Israel during this difficult time. And I know that God will bless you as we pray together, we work together, and we listen to the promise of God. I will bless them that bless thee. May God bless you until this time next week.